Do you have your shot glass? We have to get into the right frame of mind for this.
It's time to wake up to Tequila Sunrise. Greg White here, and I have spent my career starting, leading, deploying, and investing in supply chain tech. So we take a shot and talk founders, execs, investors, and companies in this hot industry. If you want a taste of how tech startup growth and investment is done, join me for another blinding Tequila Sunrise. In this episode of Tequila Sunrise, I am sharing 5 things that supply chain tech definitely won't do for your company. If you're contemplating purchasing supply chain tech or are deploying it right now, listen up, because you're going to learn what you need to know to make supply chain technology work for you and your company. Unless you've been living under a rock, which, if you remember 2020 at all, may well be the case, you know that supply chain, and more specifically supply chain technology, is an overnight sensation after just 4 decades of existence. So why the sudden awakening? Consumer empowerment, growth in e-commerce, vicious competition, pressure to increase transparency, sustainability, fair trade, human rights, and yes, of course, COVID all drove increasing awareness of supply chain's impact on commerce and increased the pace of technology adoption and digital transformation in all supply chain disciplines. Yet, too often, company leaders fall prey to what I call the technology paradox, the mistaken perception that the technology they've just deployed is a silver bullet remedy to all that ails the company. Plug it in, turn it on, change the game overnight. Of course, we all know this isn't how it works, but still, somehow we get caught up in the hopeful hype that gets leaders to sign on the dotted line. So what are these 5 things that supply chain tech won't do for you, and what can you do about it? First, supply chain tech won't create healthy supply chain partner relationships. It won't create them because technology can't overcome poor partner relationships. If your relationship lacks clearly understood and aligned expectations and metrics and communication, and especially trust, technology is not your answer. Establish healthy relationships first, then enlighten, enable, and enhance them with tech. Technology can enlighten your partners with transparent information and improved communication to help you jointly perform better to meet your supply chain goals. You can also enable improved performance from your partners with tech that provides insight to desired metrics, plans, and other information to let them know where they stand. And you can enhance existing trust by sharing generously the information that helps partners improve and use the information you obtain from your partners to improve your part of the bargain. Number 2, and this is a big one. You cannot fix bad supply chain processes with technology. Now, what tech will do is highlight your inadequacies and conduct bad processes more rapidly and slavishly to the poor process structure, accelerating your decline with ruthless precision. It is absolutely critical that in any technology or digital transformation that you identify at least the greatest offenders among bad processes and redesign them, starting with their desired outcome and working backwards. Begin with the end in mind, right? And forget this is how we've always done it. Look, the good news is that you can survive processes that are merely suboptimal and not catastrophically flawed. In fact, you'll discover these lesser process flaws quickly when you implement tech, and with the knowledge you've gained from correcting truly bad processes, you'll rapidly and continually improve them to obtain the outcome that technology efficiently drives you toward. All right, third, but so much like number 2, technology will not overcome poor strategy, management, process, or performance in business areas that work in conjunction with or that have impact on the supply chain. Learn how, for instance, planning impacts transportation and vice versa, how other adjacent areas are affected, and fix those truly bad interactions or processes or conflicting goals. Then watch both supply chain and sales and product and merchandising and operations and more rise with the tide of your digital and technological transformation. Solve these core related issues prior to deploying those technologies, or again, at least the catastrophically bad ones, and then come back and refine as you go through your technology implementation. And 4, no matter what you hear, at least for the foreseeable future, technology will not replace humans in every aspect of supply chain. No, not automated planning, not robotics, not AI or blockchain. Humans are still the most adept exception management technology in your stack. AI and other tools are better to be thought of as curious children rather than robot overlords. They require guidance, coaching, and redirection from humans. This is often euphemized as scientific tuning in machine learning and AI implementations. Humans are, at least today, more adept at understanding the big picture, extrapolating from abstract experiences, and interpreting the vagaries of management direction to identify an appropriate solution. Also, humans are far less likely, when left to their own devices, to cease their assigned task and create a new language that their superiors can't decipher. Ask Elon Musk his opinion on this real-life situation. In fact, Google 2 AI computers create own language. It's an interesting read, though a lot more fun than sinister. Still, it never happens with humans. To grossly oversimplify it, consider technology a way to do really complex computer things, heavy math, rapid learning, flawless and repetitive execution, or things that are mundane, repetitive, dangerous, or difficult for humans, and a means to enable humans to do human things, such as instantaneous problem solving without sufficient data and informing technology to improve its learning process. And number 5, technology will not create, nor will it survive a lack of, buy-in to management mandates that have been issued without consulting the professionals that must put technological and digital transformation into place. I'm sure that this doesn't need to be said, but I needed to say it. Engage your team, meet their needs, don't get their buy-in, accept what they've already bought into as the foundation of your transformation. Solve their biggest problem. If you need a brief primer on digital transformation and how I make it work, you can go to episode 8 of TECHquila Sunrise. It's just a few minutes and worth the study. Finally, as a bonus, and for reasons I think we all know deep in our hearts, I'm adding a 6th thing that technology won't do for you. No, technology will not predict the impact of the next major disruption. Can it enable detection, responsiveness, and agility? Absolutely. Can it predict? No. Seek out speed to detection, rapid response, and agility in any supply chain technology that you consider. To quote John Sicard, the CEO at Kinaxis, speed to detect leads to speed to correct. Look, this is by no means an exhaustive list. There are so many more business flaws that your supply chain technology can't overcome. It's impossible to create a comprehensive list, but if you keep your eyes open for things like individually created solutions like someone who has my spreadsheet, or routine manual overrides of current processes, and continual conflict among departments or business units or partner companies, you'll start to see the signs of flaws you need to address before, or at least during, any technology implementation. Look, is supply chain technology the answer for you? Very possibly yes, but not the only one, not the only answer. Begin with the end in mind and know that if you want to build to the sky, you must assure a solid foundation. Build your house on stone. Thanks again for spending your time with me, and remember, like I do, acknowledge reality, TECHquila
but never be
Sunrise is
bound
part
by
of the
it.
Supply Chain Now Network, the voice of supply chain featuring the people, technologies, best practices, and key issues in the industry. And hey, listen up. To build your supply chain knowledge, listen to Get This. Supply Chain is Boring, where Chris Barnes connects you to the who's who that got supply chain where we are, point us to where we're going, and take us to the next level. Or check out This Week in Business History with Supply Chain Now's own Scott Luton to learn more about everyday things you may take for granted and pick up quick insights you can use as inspiration and conversation starters. Our Logistics with Purpose series puts a spotlight on inspiring and successful organizations that give first, give forward as their business model. If you're interested in transportation, freight, and logistics, have a listen to the Logistics and Beyond series with the Adapt and Thrive Mindset Sherpa, Jamin Alvidrez, and also check out Tech Talk, hosted by industry vet and Atlanta's own Corinne Bursa, Supply Chain Pro to Know of 2020, where Corinne discusses the people, processes, and technology of digital supply chain. For sponsorship information on Tequila Sunrise or any Supply Chain Now show, DM me on Twitter or Instagram at Gregory S. White or email me at greg@supplychainnow.com. Thanks again for spending your time with me, and remember, acknowledge reality, but never be bound by it.